Hi guys, this is Streamer Carlos. In today's video, I'm going to give you my review of Psych Season 1, Episode 1. A bad with coffee. So here we go, guys. First of all, guys, this is the beginning of a new series. Of a new series that I'm going to review. One of my favorite USA Network / NBC Universal Peacock series, Psych. If you don't know what Psych is, here's the gist of it. The main character is Sean Spencer. He has eidetic memory, very good memory. He's very good with details, just like Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory. But he uses this eidetic memory that he has, Sean, to fake or pretend that he's to lie to the Santa Barbara Police Department that he's a psychic. And his best friend Gus, who's a pharmaceutical salesman, follows him along the way, solving cases using his psychic abilities. So in the first episode, and by the way, Sean's dad, Henry Spencer, is a retired cop from the Santa Barbara Police Department. So there's one other character, at least for this episode, that you should keep in mind. Carlton Lassiter, a very uptight and stiff, like a royal staff of a detective, and he has a very contentious but funny, contentious and intense relationship with Sean and Gus, but mostly Sean. So in this first episode, here's the gist of it. Guys. The McAllen family, the McAllen family, one of the richest families in Santa Barbara, need help because their son Callum has been missing for the past 18 months. But here's the deal. Callum had a big falling out with his father, Mr. McCallum, and basically they haven't spoken to each other for the past 8. McCallum and his entire family haven't seen or haven't heard from each other in 18 months because of this falling out. So here's the gist. So just to reconnect, to try to build the family fences again and make the family strong again. Callum decides to fake his own kidnapping, and he basically attaches his best friend from childhood, Malcolm Orso. Now here's the deal. For Malcolm, Malcolm is not as rich as Callum, Callum and his family, but he wants to help out. But anyway, but anyway, but the kidnapping plan, but then the kidnapping fakeage or fake out comes with a price, because to do that to do the plan to work out is basically Callum has to basically go off the grid without a trace. So where's a good hiding place? What's a good fake kidnapping hiding place? Well, it's the vacation cabin. The vacation cabin that Callum and his family used to go to, and Malcolm go to, and Malcolm go to too, because again, Callum and Malcolm are best friends. So what's the plan? What is the plan? So Callum's plan is to obviously fake his own kidnapping and talk to his father and talk to his father and pretend that he's the kidnapping he's the kidnapper of his own, like of himself, and basically tell his own father, if you want your son back, Callum, you need to give me a hefty barbecue sauce of money. So after all this, the plan is set, but it goes wrong because Mr. McAllen goes to the cabin in the woods, the family cabin in the woods, and figures out that, to keep it short and sweet, guys, that Callum has been faking his own kidnapping, and so Mr. McAllen goes and tries to talk it out and fix their family problems, but it goes all wrong. They have an argument, Mr. McAllen and Callum, and accidentally Mr. McAllen shoves his son in such a way that his head hits the coffee table, that knocks him out, and basically leaves him dead. But obviously Mr. McAllen needs to clean his tracks. He does that. But as soon as he does that, Malcolm, Callum's best friend, shows up and sees Callum out and basically bleeding out from his orange hair, yes, ginger hair, and to cover his tracks, to cover his full tracks, Mr. Callum shoots, basically does a Mr. McMahon thing, Mr. McMahon evil thing that I think if we were talking about WWE in WWE terms, if WWE would go completely evil and dark in their storylines, Mr. Man would do the same thing. Would do the same thing to Triple H. So to cover his tracks, Mr. McCallum shoots shoots Malcolm in the chest. He basically Malcolm is sitting in a chair is sitting in a chair at the coffee table, and Mr. McCallum shoots, basically bang bang, shoots Malcolm in the chest, and obviously Malcolm is sitting in the chair, and he basically slumps over, and Mr. McCallum decides to basically put the gun that he used into Malcolm's hand to make it look like that Malcolm shot Kellum. And that's when Mr. McCallum decides to run away from the scene. Run away from the scene and wait for a ransom call that never comes. And Sean and Gus figured this out by first of all getting to know the family, and obviously for Sean, crushing on Karina McCallum, who is Kellum's sister, pretty cute sister, and obviously fast forward, just to keep it short and sweet, it's a major crush for Sean, and eventually Sean and Karina are secretly dating behind Gus's back. So this is kind of a funny personal first case for Sean, but Sean figures this out that by smelling the ransom bag first. Yes, I know it's weird and funny. And he figures that the ransom bag approximately is to hold a hefty like $100,000 altogether, but in rows. And eventually Gus figures this out that Mr. McCallum was bitten by Kellum's dog in the hand, because in the hand, just like a big giant bone dog bone milk, just like a big bone shaped cookie, because Kellum loved his dog, and since his dog saw the intruder, meaning Mr. McCallum, shoot and have a very, very spicy confrontation with Kellum, and he saw the whole thing. So Kellum's dog is the witness. But again, Gus figures it out. Figures it out. That Mr. McCallan was bitten by Callum's dog because Callum's dog saw everything. Or he barked at he barked witnessed it. Barked witnessed everything. And so Callum's dog proceeded to bite the intruder. And since the intruder was Mr. McCallan had to cover the big bite that Callum's dog had given to him by using an antibiotic cream. And that's how Gus and Sean figured it out. Solved the case. But obviously, guys, I know what you're going to say. Well, how is that possible? How is that possible? Well, how is that possible? How is that possible without Sean using his psychic gifts? Well, Sean needs a big audience, and he uses psychic powers in a funny way to figure this out. And eventually, Chief Interim Vic, which is a substitute, interim means substitute, or a placeholder for the time being. So Chief Vic, basically Mr. McCallan says to Chief Vic, I don't want this to ruin my family. We have been through enough. And Chief Vic says, I'll have a talk with Mr. Spencer and Mr. Guster or Gus. And before Chief Vic could have a talk, and Lassiter could place Sean before Lassiter could put Sean in the cop car. Sean figured it out by using his psychic powers and basically said, check Mr. McCallan's right arm. He has a big rib side, a big barbecue sauce rib of a bite. So, and of course, Mr. McCallan says, no, I'm fine. And then Chief Vic says, that's a big bandage you have. Why don't you disprove, Sean? Here and now, outside your house, and basically, Sean tells Shivik and obviously Lasser and everyone that Mr. McAllister has been using a very fancy Kim Kardashian type of antibiotic cream to heal the wound, and that's when Mr. McAllister breaks down and says it was a total complete coffee of an accident. So, and that's how this wonderful first episode of season 1 of Psych ends. And I know what you're going to say, guys. What happens to Karina and Sean's love story? Well, it doesn't end. It doesn't, since Sean has put Karina's own father in jail now, and he's in prison. Even a good jail love bar story doesn't have a happy ending. So with that being said, guys, this is how this wonderful first episode of season one of Psych ends. And by the way, before I go, Henry tells Shivik that basically Sean got his psychic powers when he was 18, and now Sean basically secretly found an office space for his and Gus's own private detective agency called Psych. That's why the show is called Psych. No, not only because Sean is pretending to be a good psychic, a good fake psychic, but Psych as the word psych got you. So this is how this wonderful first episode of season 1 of Psych ends. So with that being said, guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to tap that like button, and if you want to expand your time here and want to stay up to date with my new with my videos of Psych, please don't doubt yourselves and tap that notification bell. Or if you want to expand your time here and keep on watching my videos and my other content besides Psych, please don't doubt yourselves and go to my homepage and subscribe from there. So until we Psych again, bye.